Good, happy Tuesday evening, March 31st, 2020, the last day of March. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday evening, so let's begin. First up, 9 Concord firefighters under quarantine over possible COVID-19 exposure. Chief says family member of person they helped being tested for virus. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
First out the door when it matters most. For more than a decade, he's been right there, everywhere. And when American jobs are on the line, he leads the charge. ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast, and we thank you.
The Concord Fire Department is closely monitoring its stock of personal protective equipment, especially now after guidelines kicked in this past weekend, requiring all crews at its 4 stations to fully suit up for any medical call. That, as 9 of its members, over 10% of its frontline responders, are under 14-day quarantine for possible COVID-19 exposure.
It's a significant impact. These are key members of the department. They play a vital role.
The 9 had responded to non-COVID medical calls at the same address a few days apart, the most recent 5 days ago, just before the new PPE protocols.
We had 2 separate visits to this house with transports, and it was a close family member that is now being investigated for potential COVID.
If that person's results come back negative, the crews can return to work. But even if the test comes back positive, the firefighters themselves don't qualify for testing unless they are symptomatic. Another frustration as protocols evolve.
We don't want to burn up unnecessary testing or valuable test equipment, or PPE is being used to do the testing. So we're trying to work within the guidelines for everybody at this point, being mindful that these are key players in the fight against COVID.
Now, the Concord chief says he feels very confident they're still able to respond to any calls that come in. Meantime, Salem, that had a recently similar situation, their chief says that on Friday they found out that 3 quarantined firefighters that were tested found out that those test results came back negative. We're live in Concord. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know. Let's take a look. There are 314 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 826,222 number of people worldwide who have tested positive. 3 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 45 number of people hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 3,416 number of deaths of COVID-19 in the United States. And here is a new look at the map, and it shows in each little location how many people have COVID-19 in each town of New Hampshire. For example, Raymond, Deerfield, 124 in Deerfield, Salem, Nashua, 20 plus. So if you want to view those areas, you can just go to WMUR.com and click on COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know. New cases each day in New Hampshire. In the purple, you will see daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations, and in the red, deaths. Only 3 deaths have been reported in New Hampshire. Common symptoms: fever, cough, and difficult breathing. How it spreads. And prevention tips. And that is your COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know. New Hampshire to receive additional $147 million in federal COVID-19 response funding. Delegation says $82.5 million for education, $38 million for public transportation, including in all locations. New Hampshire will receive an additional $147 million in COVID-19 response funding as part of the $2 trillion package signed into law last Friday by state's congressional delegation, as announced. Defense lawyer. Report shows police account of Randolph crash deeply flawed. Vladimir Zazovsky charged in crash that killed 7 members of Jarhead's motorcycle club. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Right now, the man accused of causing a crash that killed 7 motorcyclists in Randolph last summer is requesting a new bail hearing. Vladimir Zhukovsky pleaded not guilty on multiple counts of negligent homicide. He remains in jail without bail, but his lawyers allege in new court documents that one of the motorcyclists was on the center line and was impaired at the time of the crash. The state has 10 days to file an objection.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Coronavirus in Massachusetts, Tuesday, March 31st, update. Let's take a look. And here is that update for all of you. New cases, 868. Tested, 46,937. Total cases, 6,620. Deaths, 33. Total deaths, 89. 33 of the new deaths, and the total deaths altogether are 89. Governor Mills in Maine issues stay-at-home order for Maine residents. So anyone that lives in Maine, there is a stay-at-home order. The order, which requires that Mainers must remain at home unless they need to leave for essential jobs or essential activity, goes into effect midnight on April 2nd and lasts until April 30th. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Tuesday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you for this Tuesday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red, went down. Your Nasdaq closed in the red, went down. S&P 500 closed in the red, went down. Gold closed in the red, went down. Oil closed in the green, went up. U.S. 10-year closed flat. Euro/USD closed in the green, went up. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Dow drops 400 points as stocks close out their worst first quarter ever. Stocks fell on Tuesday, the last day of the first quarter as investors wrapped up a period of historic market volatility sparked by the coronavirus pandemic. And here are your coronavirus live updates. Need to prepare for battle at the Apex, Como says. At least 3,606 people have died from COVID-19 in the U.S. A pandemic of the novel coronavirus has infected more than 8,046,000 people around the world. Over 1,076,000 of those patients have recovered from the new respiratory virus, which causes an illness known officially as COVID-19. More than 41,000 people across the globe have died, according to data compiled by the Center for System Science and Engineering at Johns Hopkins University. With more than 177,000 diagnosed COVID-19 cases in the United States, has by far the highest nationally tally in the world. According to Johns Hopkins data, the U.S. has now lost 3,606 lives from the virus, surpassing the death toll in Hubei, China, the province where the virus first emerged in December. And here are today's biggest developments. Spain, France report highest single-day death tolls. United Kingdom deaths double in 24 hours. 12-year-old girl becomes youngest known coronavirus victim in Europe. Mask for everyone under very active consideration, Fauci says. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. Good night and bye, everyone.